ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः। Today we shall see the summary of chapter 15 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This chapter is entitled as Purushottama Yoga, the yoga of Supreme Being. Now, this is one of the small chapters. It has only 20 shlokas. Like this, even 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga has only 20 shlokas. These are important chapters, especially chapter 15 is considered very important, and because it contains the essence of the Upanishads. The essential message given in the Upanishad is captured in this chapter. It takes us from the known to the unknown to the unknowable. So it talks about the divinity as both immanent and transcendent. That which is in the world, pervading each and every aspect of this universe, and also as something that is beyond, as both immanent and transcendent. In fact, that's the word given to God in Tamil. Tamil called Kadavul. Kada means transcendent. Ul means immanent. Ul means within. Kada means beyond. That which is beyond as well as within. Kadandum irupavar, ulleyum irupavar. That which is beyond as well as within. And how do you know that? How do you reveal the truth? How do you find that divinity? How do you find that God? How do you become one with it? You repeat the word Kadavul. Kadavul, 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 Kadavul. If you keep repeating, it will become Ulkada, Ulkada, Ulkada. Means Ulleye Kada. So you have to keep going within, and transcending every layer of your personality. The first layer, Annamaya Kosha. Then the second layer, Pranamaya Kosha. Then the third layer, Manomaya Kosha. Then the fourth layer, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then the fifth layer, Anandamaya Kosha. You transcend all these koshas, you transcend the three avasthas, waking, dream, deep sleep, you transcend the gross, subtle and causal body. Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira. Then you find the self within. So this chapter presents the divinity as both immanent and transcendent. In the beginning, in fact, like I said, this is the essence of Upanishads, and it gives this whole essence in 20 shlokas, very small. So in traditionally, this chapter is chanted before meal. Okay. As a yajna, as a practice, as a prayer. If not the entire chapter, that one particular shloka, number 14 from this, and 24th shloka from chapter 4 is chanted before the meal. So they chant the entire shloka to tell ourselves that we don't live to eat. We eat to live, and to live is to find the self, to find the truth, is to go beyond the known, the unknown, and become one with the unknowable by dissolving our false personality, ego. Right? So now this chapter, 20 shlokas are divided into 4 topics. as you can see in Swamiji's book. These are all not the divisions given by Vedavyasa. It is given by our Swamiji to make us understand the thought flow. So the first verse 1 to 6, he gives it as Brahman is macrocosm. This whole world. And then from 7 to 11, Brahman is microcosm. Put together is this entire universe. This whole Jagat is nothing but Brahman. So here he's talking about how this universe has come about, what is the source of it. Right? So after that, he gets on to the topic from 12 to 15. Brahman is the essence in both the microcosm and the macrocosm, called as Akshara. This Brahman is the macrocosm, Brahman is the microcosm in the sense. This microcosm and macrocosm is known to us. It's the manifested world. And that manifested world is perishable. It's called Kshara Purusha. Perishable. Kshara means perishable. Then when you penetrate this Kshara, analyze further, then you come to this principle called Akshara Purusha, the imperishable, which is the same in both the microcosm and the macrocosm as the substratum, called Akshara, right? Imperishable. So he says Brahman is imperishable principle, the essence in both the microcosm and the macrocosm. So initially he first said Brahman is known world. Then he's saying, no, Brahman is not the known world, but the essence in the known world, which is unknown. Right? But that unknown, when it is explained as the essence, you are conceiving it. So in a way, you are limiting the unlimited, infinite divinity. And then he says further, saying, Brahman is neither the known nor the unknown, imperishable Akshara. It is even beyond. It is called Uttama Purusha. Right? Beyond the Kshara and Akshara. That's the next topic. Brahman is Uttama Purusha, supreme being, beyond Kshara and Akshara, from verse 16 to 20. So this chapter begins with the first two slokas explaining this world, this samsara, comparing it with a tree. Now this is a thing that is borrowed from Kathopanishad. And also explanation is given in Mundakopanishad. Right? In Kathopanishad, the tree mentioned name is Ashwatha, like it is mentioned here. In Mundakopanishad, it's called Pippala. It's the same thing. And he says there are two birds sitting on the tree. One is indulging in the fruits of the tree. The other is remaining as a witness. He's talking about the Jivatma and the Paramatma. Right? So all these are taken and explained by Sri Krishna to Arjuna here, using that Ashwatha tree example. There he says, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam. Urdhva Moolam means the Moolam, the real cause, the source, is above. And the branches below. Now, immediately when we listen to this, we get a picture of the roots above and the branches and everything below. So people start drawing the inverted tree. What he wants to say is, always the source is put up, looked up. Parents, grandparents, understand the source. You look up. The Guru, you look up. Right? Usually in Gurukul, the teacher sits on a stage and students sit down. Now it's ulta in the colleges. Isn't it? The teacher is standing below and the sitting above. The idea is when he says Urdhva Moolam Adashakam, meaning the Shakam, which he calls as below, the branches, the activities, the samsaric world, he says has come from that Brahman. So what he wants to say is that Brahman is the cause, the source. And cause in the sense, it is both the material cause as well as the intelligent cause. Right. For the ornaments is gold. The intelligent cause for the ornaments is the goldsmith, isn't it? The material cause for the pot is clay. The intelligent cause for the pot is potter, pot maker, isn't it? In the case of Brahman and the world, the material cause of the world and the intelligent cause of the world is same Brahman only. Now, if you ask how, in the Upanishad, in the Mundaka Upanishad, it gives an example of the spider. It says, just like how the spider spins the web from its own saliva. The material cause is the saliva, the intelligent cause is the spider. Both are the spider. So, similarly, he explains by saying, this universe has come from Brahman. Brahman is the Moolam. Brahman is the source. So, he keeps the source above, the world below. It just come down. Right? When you come down from that level of awareness, consciousness, then you fall into samsara. That is what is symbolically explained here. You have to, what do you call, fall down to be caught in samsara. You understand? When you raise your awareness through the knowledge, divinity within, then you will not have samsara thereafter. The whole idea of studying all this is only for that purpose, to rise above the samsara and completely be free from samsara. Why we have to do all this study, reflection and everything? To become absolutely free from the samsara. So there he explains, he says, from that Brahman, this whole universe has come about. And some branches of the tree going down, like that, some of our activities are nourished by the sattva guna and going up. Some are nourished by the rajo guna, stagnating in the middle. Some are nourished by the tamo guna, going in the devolutionary path. You understand? And like the leaves are nourishing the tree and making it survive, the ritualistic portions of the Vedas, where we keep doing activities to fulfill, satisfy a certain devata and get the results, running after the material world, attracted by the sense objects and thinking that fulfillment of the sense objects will make us find that what do you call, contentment, so that we don't have to run again. Foolishly we do this. Like that, he says, in the tree also. And then the buds, from that the branches come. Like that, we are running after the sense objects, propelled by our desires, and then creating our own samsars. And the secondary roots in the Ashwatha tree, the main root is Brahman. The secondary roots, we have to put that in plural. Main root is one. Urdhva Moolam. You understand? It is put in singular. When it talks about the secondary roots, he puts it in plural. There are various secondary roots. So like that, various vasanas, samskaras we create. Samskara, this samsara. Right? And this is how the whole thing is going on. Is this. The very name Ashwatha. So, the secondary roots, the samskaras, the vasanas, they tie us to this samsara. And this whole tree is called, he presents it as the Ashwatha tree. Ashwatha word means that which does not remain the same tomorrow. Constantly everything is undergoing change. This known world, isn't it? So this samsara is what he's explaining in the first two slokas and the first half of the third sloka. And when we understand that this whole thing has come about because of the non-apprehension of Brahman, we have projected the misapprehension world. That's all he wants to say. What is there is only Brahman. The non-apprehension of Brahman has caused the misapprehension of this universe. Right? So, once we understand this, we need to establish ourselves in this knowledge even more. So, for that he says, with this knowledge, you develop little vairagya. Right? Vairagya means what? Not giving undue importance to the world. Anything in the world. The good, bad, ugly, everything. Right? Like I said in the Mundaka Upanishad, there are two birds sitting on the top of the tree enjoying the fruits. Right? So all these birds which are sitting on top of the trees enjoying the bird are the jivas. And some fruits are sweet, some are sour. So like that in our life, the fruits that we get through our activities, right, are good, bad. It's a mixture. Right? All these karmas we go through. Are you with me? So all these are the samsara. Right? All these are the samsara. And when we understand, then we don't give importance to the fruit that is sweet, nor do we give so much importance to the fruit that is sour. We treat them equally with a little distance. You understand? Keep them at a little distance without getting involved. That is called vairagya. Are you with me? With that understanding, we develop the vairagya. And he says, having developed that vairagya, now you have to pursue the goal of enlightenment. Right? Tatapadam tat parimargitavyam. Having developed the vairagya, right? You have to develop the good qualities that are required and develop the right attitude and understand that the goal of life is not to keep on consuming the fruits, but to get to the root. How long we are going to be playing with these fruits, variety of fruits? Enough time has been spent on it. You understand? Now my goal is to get to that source. So then you develop, you march towards that goal, he says. Developing the good qualities, the right. You understand? And then continue your study, reflection, shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Study, reflection and meditation, Vedantic meditation or contemplation. Thus, through vichara, you will develop more and more vairagya, and more you will shift your attention towards the divinity, and you get established in that divinity. And in sloka number 6, he says, it is that which enlivens the sun, moon, and all that. It's not the other way around. What he wants to say is, the entire universe depends on that. That is independent. That is Sat. All these are Mithya. You remember the concept of Satya and Mithya. Satya means independent reality. Mithya means dependent reality. We won't call it as unreal. We call it as dependent reality. The sun has its light vitality borrowed from whom? Brahman. The moon, Brahman. Fire from Brahman. What he wants to say, this is also the Upanishadic essence. Right? It is not what you see, but what makes you see. Right? So, the light in the sun, the light in the moon, all these are Brahman's light. So, all this universe is what? Reflected consciousness, while Brahman is the pure consciousness or original consciousness. You understand? So, why he's saying that is, once you understand that, with that mithya, you won't get involved. And the more and more your attention starts towards the Satya, you become established in Satya. That's the idea. So from verse number 1 to 6, this is what he discusses. Then he says how this entire universe is pervaded by that Brahman. You understand? Brahman pervades the entire universe. So he explains that in verses 7 to 11. How Brahman has slowly pervaded the entire universe. In the sense, the whole universe is nothing but Brahman and Brahman alone. So that concept, he says, Brahman is the macrocosm and the microcosm. He comes to 7 to 11. He talks about the individual jiva. How the same Lord, first macrocosm. Then from 7 to 11, he talks about the individual. The individual is what? Spirit and matter. You and me are nothing but spirit and matter. Correct? And the same Atma functioning through the body and mind, expressing as the Jiva, experiencing this universe. And in this, he is explaining that every one of us are nothing but spirit and matter. Atma enlivening the body, mind, intellect, which are the matter, material component. And once the consciousness enlivens the body, mind, intellect, we become the reflected consciousness, the jiva. Right? And the jiva is enjoying this world. When we use the word enjoyment in Vedanta, we use the word enjoyment for both pleasure and pain. The jiva goes through pleasure and pain, experiences the pleasure and pain, saying, I am in pain, I am in pleasure. You understand? Now, we also give up this body and we take up another body. Right? We die, we give up the physical body, we die and move to the next. So he says, when that happens, the Lord carries the vasanas, he says. The Lord carries the vasanas means what? Lord carries the vasanas means like when you sleep, you are a dancer in the waking state. Right? Then you go to deep sleep. The next day morning when you wake up, do you wake up as a dancer or do you wake up as a mathematician? You don't wake up as a mathematician or a cricketer or a tennis player. You wake up as a dancer only. So the vasanas are continuing. You understand? So, like that he explains. So he says the vasanas continue even after the death. And then again it manifests. Like this tamasha goes on, he says. So the jiva is carrying the vasanas from one body to another. So in this context, we had explained the concept of death. What is death? Death is nothing but transference of subtle body, the mind and intellect, along with the causal body, from one gross body to another in the medium of pure consciousness. That is death. You understand? Transference of subtle body along with causal body from one gross body to another in the medium of pure consciousness. So ultimately, because the self is enlivening the body, mind, intellect through the mind, We are experiencing all this while we are in this body. You understand? Now, this, the individual, the jiva is not understanding. Why? Because the jiva is deluded by the gunas. The jiva is deluded by the gunas. Whereas the Mahatmas who have freed themselves from the clutches of the gunas, they know even when they are living in this body. We don't know, they know. That's why we call them as awakened, enlightened. Understand? Awakened or enlightened means what? They are enlightened of this fact. We are not enlightened of this fact. So we get involved. We get affected. It's like, take an example of a person who goes to a movie theater to watch a movie. He only booked the movie, knowing very well it's a horror genre. Right? And he's booked his movie ticket with all the popcorn and everything. Nice seat also. Push back and all that. He goes and sits, he's enjoying when the advertisement and all is going on. Slowly, when the movie starts, slowly, even in a fully air-conditioned theater, he's sweating. His heart is pumping fast. My God, So, why? Because he got involved. He knows he came for the movie, but he got lost. Now, if you can remain relaxed, when is it possible? You know that you're watching a movie, it's just tamasha going on. Right? Then you relax. So that's what he's saying. This being departing or dwelling or enjoying, united with the gunas, qualities the deluded do not perceive. Those with the eye of wisdom see, they only know. So why? Because they are not refined yet, they are not yet purified. Okay. So when you purify your personality, the inner personality, then with that refinement you see. Are you with me? That's why it is extremely important to pursue the necessary qualities and develop those qualities. Also lead a sattvic lifestyle and put in that effort. So he says the yogis who strive, meaning those who want to unite with the self, they strive and perceive this dwelling in the self. The unrefined and unintelligent, even though striving, do not perceive this. Even though you may be studying the scriptures, but if you are not doing the sadhana, supposing you are only going on studying the scriptures, but you are not doing karma yoga, you are not practicing upasana yoga, you are not doing your actions in the spirit of karma, you are still involved in selfish activities, your mind will be so disturbed. Right? So all this knowledge that you're grasping and gaining in this class will be like water plate. That's why it becomes extremely important to lead a certain lifestyle. If you wish to bring transformation, if you lead a too rajasic lifestyle, it's not possible. So in fact, in the Vedanta treatise book, Swamiji has given a topic in the very first part it comes, how to gain wisdom. He gives the example of making curd, Gaining wisdom is like making curd, he says. Like in the process of making curd. How? You have to have lukewarm milk. Milk, the white color represents sattva. And it should not be too hot, not too cold, not rajasic or tamasic. In that lukewarm milk, you add little jamun. Leave it overnight, it gets converted into curd. So like that, you need to have a sattvic mind. Right? In that sattvic mind, you add little knowledge in the early hours of the day and leave it throughout the day in the right temperature, right? What is that? In the karma yoga and upasana yoga, bhakti. And then slowly the knowledge converts itself into wisdom, like curd. Are you with me? So, therefore, he says the unintelligent and unrefined, they don't perceive this dwelling in you, within you. Right? So, in fact, the grosser you are, you need some very gross manifestation to be reminded of divinity. You have to go to Himalayas, something spectacular. Oh my God. Then you will say. Otherwise, you know, you see a butterfly. How no butterfly is same, varieties of colors, right? No tree is same, even if it may belong to the same variety. If it's neem tree also, coconut tree, one is growing this way, one is growing that way. You see there's so many varieties splashed. And you see the nail growing in your hand, your fingers, and your hair growth. Everything you may be inspired, reminded of divinity. The subtler you go. Take the peanuts, for example. It's beautifully packaged, no? Banana is nicely packaged. Orange. Who's packaging it? Today you have packaging industry, right? Who's packaging it? So when you are refined, you can sit and see divinity where you are. When you're unrefined, you need to go here, there. Even after going there, you may not see. Because there you are lost in the other things. You understand? You still miss it. You know, there are many scriptures in Tamil. In one of the scriptures, it says, Ullam Perum Koil, Unudambu Alai. Means what? This body is that temple. And in this temple, the divinity is residing. So, finally, he says, Tella Telindarka Jivan Sivalingam. Once you gain that knowledge, you see this Jiva as the Shivalinga, the divinity expressing here and everywhere. Right? So, the unrefined misses it, the refined sees it. So, same thing Jesus Christ says, Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. If you want to see God, you've got to be purified. Swami Ramakrishna gives a beautiful story. A small child, walks to the school, almost 15-20 minutes to the school every day. And on the way, befriends Sri Krishna. Rather, Sri Krishna, Balakrishna befriends the child. They both play for some time and then child goes to the school every day. And in the school, when it is birthday of any particular child, they bring that sweets and distribute. This child is very poor. And that particular day happens to be the child's birthday. And the child money to distribute sweet. So the child is sad. And Balakrishna asks why. What is the reason? He gives the best of chocolates, whatever is the best. Godiva, let's say. You understand? So the child takes Godiva and distributes. The teacher says, Arey, you're not from a very rich family. How are you giving Godiva? Where did you steal it from? Child says, no, I didn't steal. Balakrishna gave me. What Balakrishna? Sri Krishna gave me. Sri Krishna? What rubbish are you talking? You're lying to me. No, the child starts crying. I'm not lying. Please come, I'll show you. The child takes the teacher along to that place, but the Krishna is not there. The child starts crying, right? Innocent child. Hey, Krishna, come, otherwise they won't believe me. And Krishna comes after some time. And when Krishna comes, the child is jumping with joy. Krishna has come, see. The teacher cannot see, but the teacher sees the genuine, innocent child. The teacher understands, and the teacher says, yes, Krishna is there, but I can't see because I'm not as pure as you are. I'm not as innocent as you are. You understand? So that innocence is what is required. We've lost it. We've become more conditioned. You understand? So therefore, he says the unintelligent and unrefined doesn't see it. Even though striving, do not perceive. You've got to purify the subtle personality to be able to allow the divinity to reveal through yourself, through your personality. So that's what he explains. So from 1 to 6, he spoke Brahman from the macrocosmic point of view. Then from 7 to 11, he spoke Brahman from the microcosmic point of view. And then from 12 to 15, he is going to talk about the essence in both, which he calls as the akshara. So he says the light residing in the sun, which illumines the whole world, which is in the moon, all that slokas from 12 to 15. He is bringing us to that essence. See, essence, when you say, you take the tree, for example. You say the tree is. Now you cut the tree, and then you say the log is. Right? In plural, you say logs are. The same as isness. Then you make table out of the logs. Then you say table is. Right? Then you burn the table. You say ashes. Right? First, there was tree. The tree form is gone. Then log form came. Log form gone. Table form came. Table form gone. Then ash. So the forms keep on changing, but the isness, the essence continues. That essence is what he calls as akshara. You understand? And that essence is in us, in our stomach, responsible for the Vaishvanara, which is digesting the food and distributing it. You understand? And it is that essence which is manifested as the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. He says in 15, I am seated in the hearts of all, the core. I am the pure consciousness is seated in everybody as the essence in the core. And it is that which manifests as matta smritir jnanam apohanam. So I said when we discussed this shloka, I said one particular guru beautifully explains. He says, what is this? Apohanam means forgetfulness, which is happening in the dream. I'm sorry, deep sleep. That is needed. Otherwise, you'll be agitated. Waking state, you're doing business and all that. So much tension. Getting reminders. Before this day, you have to submit this, and you're not able to finish. And then dream is coming, and dream also you're a little agitated. All that is going on. And then in deep sleep, you are unaware of everything. Just beautifully sleeping. Right? So, matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha, meaning the waking dream and deep sleep state, all these are enlivened by me. And it is that which is pointed out in the Vedas. Right? And it is not known. It is the unknown pervading the known. The essence pervading the known. Right? The unknown pervading the known. I am indeed the author of Vedanta and the knower of Vedas. Author of Vedanta means, I've explained this when we did the 4th chapter also. In fact, in the 4th chapter, the very first topic is called self is the eternal teacher. See, only to the extent you have unfolded the self, you can communicate the self. So, it is only an enlightened person who can talk about Brahman. Or to the extent you are enlightened, you can talk about it. You understand? So, the author of Vedanta is who? The very Bhagavan. That's why we say Vedas are apaurusham. Means it's not born of human effort. When the human being, through the efforts, have dissolved the ego and has merged with the divinity, then what reveals through that personality is called the Vedas, the Upanishads. So the author of Vedanta, the Upanishad, is Brahman only. And he is the knower of the Vedas. Understand? Only when you get there, you become the real knower of Vedas. I am that Supreme Brahman. I am that Aksharat Tattvam. Now the thing is, this Akshara, which is imperishable, the essence, is now in discussion, you are conceiving. So you may think you've caught God. You understand? You've captured God. God is that limitless pure consciousness. How can you catch that in the limited intellect? You can't put the divinity in a test tube and say, this is God. I've captured God in the test tube. You understand? Divinity is that which enlivens the intellect. The intellect cannot understand the divinity. Another example we give is, you use a pair of tongs to catch hold of many things. Right? You're serving idli, for example. You use a tong to take the idli and serve. With that tongs, you cannot catch hold of the same palm that is holding the tongs. Are you with me? So, first, it is the divinity that through the non-apprehension has come out as the misapprehension, these names and forms. So, first, what is known to us, from there, the divinity needs to be explained. See, education always has to move from the known to the unknown. Listen, if somebody wants to go to a library and is asking you, so you ask him, which place you know. From that place, you direct him from the known to the unknown. Right? You can't talk in unknown terms. So first, he says these names and forms are God. Then he says, no. The essence in these names and forms are God. Then you say, oh, I have now understood God. He says, no. Because God is not an object of comprehension. It is a subjective apprehension. Are you with me? Therefore, he says, it is not Kshara, the names and forms. It is not the Akshara, the essence, the imperishable. It is even beyond. What is that? He calls it as Uttama Purusha. Purushottama. It is beyond the Kshara and the Akshara. That's all you have to explain, right? Take that person there and leave it. And then in that, finally, he has to, through meditation, he or she, through meditation, has to see it within. So he says there are these two Purushas, beings in the world, the perishable Kshara and the imperishable Akshara. The perishable is all these beings, the names and forms. The imperishable is called the Kutastha, which remains. You understand? The same thing I explained from a different angle when we did the shlokas. I said the manifested world is Kshara, the unmanifest is the Maya, and the supreme is the Ishvara, which is beyond Maya. You understand? So that is the supreme being beyond the perishable and the imperishable. And it is the indestructible Lord. When everything gets destroyed, you understand? The self remains indestructible. It is that which pervades and sustains the three worlds. See, what pervades and sustains the entire Namarupa, in the case of pots, clay. In the case of gold, ornaments, gold. Right? Even this example only conveys to some extent. That's why we bring in another example, the rope and the snake. Right? Rope is both the material cause for the snake, and it is that which sustains the snake. Agree with me? Without the rope, the snake cannot exist. So he wants to say that all these are dependent on me while I remain independent of all this. I transcend the perishable, and I'm even higher than the imperishable, and therefore proclaimed in the world and in the Veda as Purushottama. I'm called as Uttama Purusha, the supreme being. So when you understand this, that slowly you are shifting your attention from the names and forms to the essence to the thing which is beyond. When your thoughts are going all the time towards the names and forms, what happens? You're creating more and more vasanas for it. So this is how you have to slowly cross the boundaries of the gross and the subtle and go to the subtlest and remain there and allow the divinity to reveal through your personality in the deeper meditative states. So he says, and therefore proclaimed in the world and in Veda as Purushottama, Uttama Purusha. Right? So I am beyond the names and forms and beyond Maya also. Right? Maya is the material cause. I am even beyond the Maya. Maya is dependent on me. I am not dependent on Maya. Maya is my power. Right? And in the fourth chapter, he says, my own Prakriti, I manifest myself, he says. So the whole universe has come about like that. So the moment you understand all this and you soak yourself in that, in Nididhyasana, in Vedantic meditation, what happens is you become Brahman. You have to own it up. But to own it up, you have to prepare yourself. See, if somebody calls you Surabhi, you are comfortable. If somebody calls you Brahman, you will not be comfortable. What? You understand? But when you have grown to that level, you'll be comfortable. Isn't it? See, when a prince is born, they slowly train the prince as he grows. And when he is then given the throne, made the king, he comfortably sits on it. Because he's trained and grown and matured to that height. Isn't it? There's another beautiful story, actual story. I'm forgetting the name of the book, of the tigress cub, which was brought up by a lady in Kenya, in the jungle. And then later on, the tigress was trained and sent back into the jungle. Because the tigress to go back to the jungle needs to be trained, otherwise it can't survive. And, oh, sorry, it's not tigress, I think lioness, right? And that lioness much later one day comes there, but keeps the lion who's come with the lioness at a little distance and comes, plays with her and goes back. The actual story, I'm forgetting the name of the Born Free, I think, the name of the book. And it's actual story, they say. The movie also came in that, I believe, in that, brought that story out. So, like that, slowly, you have to own it up. That's all Vedanta is saying. It's not something that you need to attain. You are already that. But now you can't own it up. Arey yaar, kya baat kar rahe aap? Listen, today, please just make sure that my loan is paid off. That's all I want. Just pay my loan. I'll be very happy. Oh, this Swami helped me to pay my loan, so I'll keep the photo of the Swami and do bhajan. That's all I meant. But then from that level, slowly, you practice all this. You own it up. One stage, you are able to roar like a lion and say, Aham Brahmasmi. That Brahman I am. I am that Brahman. So that's what he's saying. You have to understand this knowledge and develop Vairagya more and more, then develop good qualities, and then develop the right attitude, then continue gaining the knowledge, doing the vichara, and then you will slowly own it up. So you understand then that nobody really bound you. You bound yourself out of ignorance. Now you released yourself out of knowledge. So that's why we say only knowledge liberates. You understand? Nobody has bound you. If somebody has bound you, then they have to come and release you. Because the key will be with them. You have bound yourself out of ignorance. You understand? And once you, and therefore now, when you are in ignorance, then what do you say? Oh, I have these duties, I have to fulfill this, I have to fulfill that. And how much ever you fulfill, you are never fulfilled. But what happens when you gain this knowledge, when you own it up, when you realize the self, when you become the self? He says, he who has become the truth, divinity, who's dissolved the entire personality in me. He says, he all-knowing worships me with his whole being. Worship means identification. He identifies with me totally. Like the river has merged with the ocean. Such a person, he says, the benefit, the fruit he gets is he becomes wise and fulfilled of all duties. Fulfilled of all duties means what? He thereafter doesn't do anything to attain fulfillment. He thereafter goes about doing things out of fulfillment. He has nothing to do or not do. You understand? That is what is called as kritakritagya. He says this in the third chapter also. He says this again and again. That's the highest benefit you get. Thereafter, there is nothing that needs to be done by you. There's nothing that remains to be known by you. You understand? Thereafter, you're not going to do. Why are you now caught in a certain duty? I have to fulfill this. I have to get this fruit. Right? So you don't approach work, duty as a slave thereafter.
That was the term you used last chapter where you don't have the tatavya, but you have.
I don't know what you're talking about. So the point is, when he says he's fulfilled of all duties, now another doubt comes. Oh, that means what? He will have no duty? He'll just simply lives life without doing anything? It's not like that. He or she may continue going about doing their activities in the world. Understand? But it is not like a duty. It's like a game for them. Game, not even game, tamasha. Game brings a different meaning. Play is a better word. You understand? We are not going to, run after satisfaction. They are totally satisfied. They are complete. With paripurnatvam, they go about. You understand? They go about doing what they have to do. So no stress, no strain. A managing director has the office in about 5 kilometers distance from his house. And every day morning, he has the habit of walking and jogging for about 10 kilometers. So what he does every day morning, he gets up, walks a little bit, jogs a little bit, and goes up to his office and comes back. So totally 10 kilometers. He does it in about an hour and a half or so. Right? And he comes back, showers, does his puja, has breakfast, and then goes to work. Sitting in the Mercedes Benz. Nice car, everything, AC, everything switched on. Now he's going to the office. Morning also he went to the office only, meaning in that direction, jogged, almost closer to his office, came back. But he was very relaxed. Now he's sitting in the car, AC car, but stressed. Why? Now he's going as a doer. You understand? So once you understand the divinity, you will be sitting in the Mercedes Benz or even walking like that morning, you will have the same attitude. Are you with me? That's all he's saying. He's fulfilled. Thereafter, there is nothing to be done, achieved by that person. He knows the self. Once you know the self, you get clear direction, the whole picture you get. You don't get lost in the samsaric world. The world doesn't influence you thereafter. You begin to influence the world. Not that you become lazy, lethargic, tamasic, or anything like that. Are you with me? So that's what he's saying. This is the most secret science which has been declared by me, O Anaga, O sinless fellow, O Arjuna. Knowing this, one becomes wise and fulfilled of all duties, O Bharata. O Arjuna, if you gain this knowledge and if you purify yourself more and more and continue the vichara, both has to go hand in hand. Understand? To do the sadhana, make sure you lead a sattvic lifestyle, and along with it, you continue doing the vichara. Then slowly you'll get there. And you reach that state, you become absolutely fulfilled. Thereafter, in fact, this fulfillment ke liye, he gives one example in the second chapter. He compares the Mahatma who is enlightened to the ocean. Water is coming from all directions into the ocean. Nothing happens to the ocean. And water is constantly evaporated from the ocean. Nothing happens. It is paripurna. isn't it? And he says, like the water entering the ocean, not affecting the ocean, the world enters into you through your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and all that, but does nothing to you. Today, what happens? When it enters, you'll mange more. We get more and more agitated, trapped. But once the knowledge comes, you digest. It gets completely digested. You don't get affected by the world. And being balanced, you start dealing with things. So that's why we say once you gain the knowledge, then only you actually begin to live with full satisfaction. You understand? So this is the summary of chapter 15. The final benefit is this: you become free from samsara. Thereafter, nothing ties you, nothing binds you. You remain free. Let's conclude. Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.